Mr. Narendra Modi, you said India will stand by France in the fight against terrorism. Well done. I applaud you for that because we all should fight terrorism. But, Mr. Narendra Modi, who is going to fight your RSS? You. Who is going to fight your BJP? You. Mr. Narendra Modi, what have you done and how much have you done against Hindutva fanatics in your country, Mr. Modi, when you were one of the RSS cohorts only a few years ago, Mr. Modi? Who is going to give punishment to the terrorists who killed many Tabriz Ansaris in your country, Mr. Modi? Who is going to punish those Hindu fanatics who tore down a mosque which they claim was built by an Mughal emperor many centuries ago in the place of a Hindu temple? Mr. Modi, who is going to punish your government? The government who carried out atrocities, locking down a whole state like Kashmir for decades of oppression that followed before that. Mr. Narendra Modi, who is going to punish your soldiers who raped many Muslim women in Kashmir? Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi, who is going to punish your ministers who wanted Muslims to be out of the country simply because they allegedly came from Bangladesh, when in fact they were born and bred in India? Mr. Narendra Modi, who is going to punish your female terrorists in your BJP who said Muslim women should be raped to teach them a lesson and Muslim women should be dug out from their graves and should be raped by Hindu fanatics? Mr. Narendra Modi. Mr. Modi, we want to fight terrorism, but at the same time, ridiculing and mocking shouldn't be the way forward. That's not the Indian way. That's not the culture that our subcontinent has been following for thousands of years. We don't take mockery as a language. Mr. Narendra Modi, how come you forgot to tell that to Mr. Macron of France? Mr. Modi, have you forgotten how your Hindu fanatics drove away Fida Hussein from his motherland? You forgot, Mr. Modi, that Fida Hussein just made a statue of one of your idols and he had to leave the country. He had to rather flee India. Mr. Modi, don't get annoyed and shocked now then if Islamist terrorists start depicting your goddesses in the most heinous and disgusting way. Would you mind if Muslims start making naked pictures of your gods and goddesses? Definitely not. I don't think so. Well, who knows? You may even approve of that. But mockery, ridiculing, these cannot be languages of the civilized world. Mr. Modi. Mr. Macron was definitely wrong in giving Samuel Paty a national heroes status. Well, I am against any kind of killing. I don't think anyone should be killed because of words. And I was the most outspoken man who spoke out against Islamist terrorism all his life, being a Muslim. And I also condemned the attackers against all these terrorist activities to be an insult to Islam. And I also said that Samuel Paty and others, well, they did something seriously wrong by ridiculing our Prophet and hurting our feelings because, as I said, mockery cannot be the language of the civilized. But at the same time, I condemned without any caveat the killers of Samuel Paty and others who died. I also called the dead ones as angels in the church. But at the same time, Mr. Modi, I cannot approve of mockery a way forward. Well, you will approve of it, I'm sure. Because you know why? Because your political party was established with the ideologies of Hitler's and Mussolini's fanatic and fascist views. You're no exception. Hitler and Mussolini, they targeted Jews, and now your BJP and RSS have targeted the Muslims. Mr. Modi, shame on you. Shame on you that you think you are the leader of the biggest democracy of the world. But in fact, you are now considered to be the biggest fool and biggest Hitler of the modern day. Mr. Modi, we can make a lot of mockery of you. But you know what? Your people, your followers don't even accept us mocking you when you take a little sip in the cow's urine.